The waiter placed my birthday cake in front of me. 24 perfect pink roses circling the edge. I could already hear my sister Avery's voice in my head. "Oh, sweetie, you really shouldn't eat that. The wedding's only 6 months away, and I need my maid of honour looking her best." My name is Peyton, and I've spent my entire life being the lesser sister. "Make a wish, darling." My mother Vanessa's voice dripped with the artificial sweetness she reserved for public performances. We were seated at Bellini's, the kind of restaurant where the waiters judge you by your wine selection, and the bathroom attendant makes more in tips than I do in salary. I closed my eyes, pretending to wish. What I really did was count to 10, something my therapist suggested whenever I felt the familiar surge of resentment rising in my chest. "Oh, before you blow out the candles!" Avery's hand shot up, a diamond engagement ring catching the light. "Gabriel and I have the most wonderful news." Of course she did. Even my birthday dinner couldn't just be about me. "We've decided where we're moving after the wedding," Avery announced, reaching for Gabriel's hand across the table. "That gorgeous apartment Dad got? It's absolutely perfect for us. The location, the view, everything." The fork in my hand froze halfway to my mouth. "What apartment?" "The one in the Morrison," my mother said, as if I was being particularly slow. "Your father's graduation gift? Obviously, it makes more sense for Avery and Gabriel to use it. They're starting a family soon, and you're still..." She waved her hand dismissively. "Finding yourself." The cake suddenly tasted like ash in my mouth. The Morrison. My apartment. The one thing, the only thing Dad had ever given just to me. "That's quite an assumption," I said quietly, placing my napkin on the table. "Oh, honey." Avery reached across to pat my hand. "Don't be difficult. You know I've always loved that building. And really, what would you do with all that space?" I pulled my hand away and reached for my purse. The leather folder felt heavy, like it was made of lead instead of calfskin. "You mean this apartment?" I slid the deed across the table. "The one with my name on it?" The silence that followed was delicious. Avery's perfectly glossed mouth fell open. My mother's face went from confusion to disbelief to fury in the span of 3 seconds. "There must be some mistake," Vanessa said, her voice sharp enough to cut glass. "Ernest would never..." But he did. I traced my finger over my name on the deed. Sole owner. No mistakes, no confusion, no misunderstanding. Gabriel shifted uncomfortably in his chair. Smart man. He could sense the storm coming. "You selfish little..." Avery started, but I cut her off. "No, Avery. For once in your life, you don't get to have what's mine." I stood up, smoothing my dress. "Thank you all for coming to my birthday dinner. The cake is excellent. You should try some. I hear there's still time before the wedding." I walked out of Bellini's with my head high, the deed tucked safely in my purse. Behind me, I could hear my mother's urgent whispers and Avery's increasingly shrill protests. My phone started buzzing before I even reached my car. Probably Dad, warning me about the hurricane I'd just unleashed. But for the first time in my life, I didn't care about keeping the peace. They'd tried to take the one thing that was truly mine, the one time Dad had seen me, really seen me, and decided I deserved something of my own. I pulled out my phone and texted Sadie, "It's done. They know." Her response was immediate. "OMG, finally. How do you feel?" I smiled as I typed back, like this is just the beginning. Because it was. That apartment wasn't just about square footage and city views. It was about 24 years of being overlooked, pushed aside, and made small. They thought they could take this from me too, just like everything else. But not this time. This time I wasn't backing down, and they had no idea what I was capable of when I finally decided to stand up for myself. My phone rang at midnight. Dad's name flashed on the screen, and I almost let it go to voicemail. Almost. "Peyton, sweetheart." His voice carried that familiar mix of guilt and exhaustion. "Your mother's been calling me non-stop." I bet she has. I was curled up on my old apartment's couch, scrolling through Avery's latest Instagram story, a black and white selfie captioned, "Some people never grow up enough to think about anyone but themselves." "Maybe we should have handled this differently," Dad said. "If I'd told your mother first, then I wouldn't have the apartment at all." I closed Instagram. "You know that." The silence on his end confirmed it. "Listen, Dad, I have to go. Early meeting tomorrow." I hung up before he could respond, then immediately got a text from Sadie. OMG, have you seen what your aunt posted? I switched to Facebook. There it was, Aunt Margaret's novel-length post about ungrateful children and sister's betrayal. The comments section was a war zone of relatives taking sides. My phone buzzed again. Mum. Peyton, this childish behaviour needs to stop. Her voice was razor-sharp. You clearly misunderstood your father's intentions with the apartment. Did I? Because the deed seems pretty clear. Your sister is getting married. She needs... What Avery needs and what Avery owns are two different things, Mum. I raised you better than this. I laughed. No, you raised Avery. I just happened to be there. The line went dead. My phone kept lighting up with messages from relatives I hadn't heard from in years. Cousin Rachel, how could you do this to your own sister? Uncle James, your mother is devastated. Even my grandmother weighed in. Family should come first. I texted Sadie. Coming over. Need wine. 20 minutes later, I was on her couch, halfway through a bottle of Merlot. Look at this! I showed her Avery's latest post, a throwback photo of us as kids, her holding my hand as we crossed the street. Caption, I've always tried to guide you down the right path. Sad when people choose the wrong one anyway. Oh, that's rich, Sadie snorted. Wasn't this right before she told everyone at school about your crush on Danny Martinez? The very same. I took another sip. You know what's funny? She's never once posted about me, unless it was to make herself look good. So what's your next move? I pulled out my laptop. Remember how Mum always handled all the family finances? Dad travels so much, he just lets her deal with everything. Yeah? Well, when I was helping her organise her office last month, I saw her entering the code to her safe. Inside were all these documents about trusts and investments. Peyton? Sadie sat up straighter. What are you thinking? I'm thinking it's time I understood exactly how our family money works. I opened my email, and I'm thinking Mum's been a little too protective of those papers for them to be completely innocent. Be careful, Sadie warned. Your mum's like a shark when she's cornered. Good thing I learned from the best. I pulled up Mum's private email address, the one she thought nobody knew about. I'm done being the good little sister who stays quiet and takes scraps. My phone buzzed again. A text from Gabriel. Can we talk? Alone? I showed Sadie the message. Interesting, she mused. Think he's playing messenger for Avery? Only one way to find out, I replied. Tomorrow. Coffee at Marcus's, 2 p.m. You're playing with fire, Sadie said, but she was smiling. No, I corrected her, thinking of the safe in Mum's office and all the secrets it might hold. I'm just finally learning how to use the matches they gave me. I stayed at Sadie's that night, my mind racing with possibilities. Mum had always been so careful with those documents, so insistent that everything was being handled fairly. But fair in my family had always meant whatever benefits Avery most. Not anymore. Tomorrow I'd meet with Gabriel. And then I'd find out exactly what was in that safe. Because something told me the apartment was just the tip of a very ugly iceberg. Dad agreed to meet me at his office. Neutral territory. The conference room felt too big for just the two of us. His designer suit a stark contrast to my business casual. Your mother's furious, he started, loosening his tie. When isn't she? I placed the trust documents I'd found on the table. Want to explain these? His face fell as he recognised them. Where did you get those? Does it matter? What matters is why Avery's name is on everything, and mine isn't. Dad slumped in his chair, suddenly looking every bit his 58 years. Your mother, she insisted. Said Avery needed more security, given her career path. And I didn't. I changed things recently. That's why the apartment... Stop! I pushed the papers toward him. These are dated last month. Avery's still the sole beneficiary of everything except that one property. Why? Before he could answer, my phone buzzed. A text from Gabriel. At the coffee shop. Where are you? Sorry, Dad. Got another meeting. I stood up, gathering the documents. But this conversation isn't over. At Marcus's coffee, Gabriel sat in a corner booth, looking uncomfortable in his casual weekend wear. His usual confidence was missing. Thanks for meeting me, he said, as I slid into the seat across from him. I needed to talk to someone who makes sense right now. Trouble in paradise? He stirred his coffee absently. Avery's, Not who I thought she was. The way she's handling this apartment situation, the things she's saying about you. Welcome to my world. She told me you've always been jealous of her, that you're trying to ruin her wedding. He looked up. But that's not what I've seen. These past 2 years, every family event, you've just taken it. All the little digs, the backhanded compliments. And now you're wondering what else she's lied about? He nodded slowly. My phone buzzed again. A message from Yara, my friend from HR. Got those documents you sent. You need to see this ASAP. I have to go, I told Gabriel. But thanks for being honest. Peyton? His voice stopped me as I stood. Be careful. Avery. She gets scary when she doesn't get her way. I found Yara in her office, spreadsheets covering her desk. Look at this! She points to a series of transactions. These trust disbursements. They're supposed to be split equally between both daughters. But they've all been redirected to something called the Bowen Trust. Bowen? The name hit like a punch to the gut. As in Lexis Bowen? You know them? Lexis was Avery's best friend in college. I leaned closer to the screen. How much money are we talking about? Over the past 5 years, close to $500,000, my hands shook as I took pictures of the documents. Can you tell where the money went after that? Not without access to the Bowen Trust details, but Yara hesitated. This kind of setup? It's classic money laundering. I sat down hard in her spare chair. My mother and sister are laundering money through a fake trust? Or hiding it from someone? Yara gave me a meaningful look. Like maybe hiding your share from you? My phone lit up with a text from an unknown number. Hey Peyton, it's Lexis. Long time no see. In town for a few days. Drinks? I showed Yara the message. That's convenient timing, she said. Too convenient. I typed back, love to. Tomorrow at the loft, 7 p.m. Perfect timing, actually, Yara said, gathering the documents. The loft's owner owes me a favour. I can have them seat you somewhere private, maybe get their security camera footage. I stared at her. You'd do that? She shrugged. I hate entitled rich girls who steal from their sisters. As I left Yara's office, another text came through from Gabriel. Avery's been acting strange. Making lots of private calls. Think she's hiding something big. I smiled grimly. Don't worry, I typed back. We're about to find out exactly what that is. Tomorrow, Lexis would either become my biggest ally or my biggest mistake. Either way, I was done playing nice. Because $500,000? That wasn't just spite money. That was destroy your sister's life money, and I was going to find out why. The loft was exactly the kind of place Lexis would choose. All exposed brick and overpriced cocktails. She hadn't changed much since college. Still blonde, still perfect, still radiating that particular brand of mean girl energy that made my skin crawl. Peyton? She air-kissed my cheeks. God, you look so professional. I caught the slight pause, the implied insult. Same old Lexis. How's the banking world treating you? I asked, sliding into our booth. Yara had come through. We were perfectly positioned under a security camera. Amazing! Though not as amazing as that apartment of yours, the Morrison. She stirred her martini. Avery must be devastated. Why would my apartment devastate my sister? Oh! Lexis's eyes widened with fake innocence. I just assumed... she always said it would be hers. Something about an arrangement with your mum. I leaned forward. What kind of arrangement? I probably shouldn't say... She glanced around theatrically. But since we're friends, Avery needed some financial help after college. Something about credit card debt? Your mom helped her set up some accounts. In whose name? Lexis smiled slowly. Well, yours, obviously. Your credit score was perfect and you never used your cards anyway. It was just temporary until she got back on her feet. My hands clenched under the table. When exactly did this happen? Right after graduation, around when that trust money started coming in. She took another sip. Oops, was I not supposed to know about that? I pulled out my phone, opened my banking app. So if I were to check my credit report right now... Oh, honey, Lexis laughed. Those accounts are long closed, but the trust, that's still very much active. In fact... She pulled out her own phone, showed me a recent transfer. Avery just moved another chunk through last week. Through your account. The Bowen Trust? Yeah, it was your mum's idea. Keep everything clean. Her smile turned sharp. Of course, I get a little fee for helping. We all do. We all? Oops, there I go again. Saying too much. She stood up, grabbing her designer bag. This was fun, but I should run. Give Avery my love. I waited until she left before texting Yara. Got it all on camera? Every word. Want me to send it to the fraud department? Not yet. One more stop first. I drove straight to my mother's house. She opened the door in her silk robe, glass of wine in hand. Peyton, it's nearly midnight. Identity theft, Mom? Credit card fraud? I pushed past her into the foyer. That's what you and Avery did to me? She paled slightly but recovered quickly. I don't know what you're talking about. Lexis Bowen does. So does your accountant, I bet. And the fraud department will too, once they see the evidence. You wouldn't dare! Her voice turned to ice. I'll cut you off completely. I laughed. Cut me off from what? The money you already stole from me? The trust fund you redirected to Avery? Face it, Mum, you can't threaten me with losing something I never had. Get out of my house. Gladly. But first, I pulled out my phone, showed her the recording of Lexis. Just so we're clear about who has the power now. Her hand shook, wine sloshing over the rim of her glass. What do you want? I want everything you took from me, with interest. You'll destroy your sister's life, like you destroyed mine. My phone buzzed. A text from Gabriel. Need to talk. It's about Flynn Jackson. Who's Flynn Jackson? I asked my mother. The wine glass slipped from her hand, shattering on the marble floor. Her face went from pale to ghost white. Nobody, she whispered. He's nobody. But her reaction said everything. I typed back to Gabriel. Tomorrow, my apartment. Tell me everything. Walking out, I heard my mother on the phone. Avery, we have a problem. A big one. I smiled as I got into my car. They thought the apartment was bad. They thought the fraud was their biggest problem. Something told me Flynn Jackson was about to become their worst nightmare, and I couldn't wait to find out why. Flynn Jackson wasn't what I expected. Instead of the sleazy businessman I'd imagined, he was well-dressed, articulate, and looked like he belonged in a luxury watch commercial. We met at a quiet bar downtown, far from my family's usual haunts. I've been waiting for this meeting, he said, sliding into the booth, ever since I heard about the apartment situation. How do you know about that? Your mother called me, begged me to talk to your father, actually. He ordered a whiskey neat. I declined. Why? Because Vanessa and Avery have manipulated enough people. He pulled out his phone, including me. He showed me text messages, hundreds of them, from my mother, from Avery. Promises, threats, seduction attempts. Your mother approached me first, he said, 3 years ago. She wanted inside information about your father's investments. And Avery came 6 months later, like mother, like daughter. He smiled bitterly. I played along for a while, gathered evidence. Of what? Everything. He forwarded the messages to my phone. Your mother used company information to make insider trades. Avery helped launder the profits through that Bowen trust of hers. They've been bleeding your father's company dry for years. My hands shook as I scrolled through the texts. Does Dad know? Not yet, but he will. Flynn finished his drink. I've been building a case for the SEC, just waiting for the right moment. Why tell me this? Because you deserve to know what they really are. He leaned forward. And because I need your help. With what? Your father trusts you. If you show him these messages, he'll listen. If they come from me, he'll think it's corporate sabotage, I finished. Exactly. My phone buzzed. Avery calling. I declined it. What's in it for you? I asked Flynn. Justice. And... He hesitated. Your father's company is about to merge with a major tech firm. If this scandal breaks first, the deal dies. Along with your mother's plans to cash out. I forwarded the messages to my email, then to Yara for safekeeping. I'll think about it. Outside the bar, my phone exploded with notifications. Avery had posted a tearful Instagram story about family betrayal and dark times. The comments were flooding in. Stay strong, family first. Some people are so jealous. I was about to put my phone away when a text from Gabriel appeared. Avery's freaking out. Says Flynn contacted her. What's going on? Before I could respond, another message came through from my mother. Whatever Flynn told you is a lie. Come home. We need to talk. I texted Gabriel back. Watch your back. Storm's coming. Then I emailed the messages to my father with one line: "We need to meet, alone." His response came immediately: "My office, 30 minutes." I found him standing at his office window, looking older than I'd ever seen him. "Is this real?" he asked, holding up his phone. Every word. "The trades, the trust, all of it?" I nodded. He sank into his chair. "Your mother. I trusted her with everything." "We both did." His phone rang. My mother's face lighting up the screen. He declined the call. "The merger," he said quietly. "It would have set us all up for life." "It would have set them up for life," I corrected. "We were never part of their plan." Another call. Avery, this time, declined again. "What do you want to do?" I asked. He looked at the messages again, then at me. "What they deserve." My phone buzzed with a text from Yara. "SEC complaint filed. Evidence attached. It's done." I showed it to my father. He nodded slowly. "Good," he said. "Let them face the consequences." As if on cue, my phone lit up with a final text. From Avery. "You think you've won? You don't know what I know. Meet me at the apartment. Now." I showed Dad the message. "Be careful," he warned. "Your sister's dangerous when cornered." "So am I," replied, heading for the door. "And unlike her, I have nothing left to lose. Time to finish this, once and for all." Avery was waiting in the lobby of the Morrison, mascara smeared under her eyes, clutching a manila envelope like a weapon. "You just couldn't leave it alone, could you?" she spat as I approached. "Had to keep digging and digging." "Let's take this upstairs." In my apartment, Avery paced like a caged animal, her designer heels clicking against the hardwood floors. "You think you know everything now?" She waved the envelope. "You have no idea what Mom sacrificed for this family. What I sacrificed." "Sacrificed?" I laughed. "You stole my identity. You and Mom took my trust fund." "Because you didn't deserve it." She slammed the envelope down on my kitchen counter. "You weren't even supposed to be here." "What are you talking about?" "Open it." She nodded toward the envelope. "See what kind of sister you really are." Inside was a yellowed letter, dated 24 years ago. My hands trembled as I read. "Dearest Vanessa, the adoption agency is ready to proceed as discussed. Once the second baby is born, we can arrange immediate placement with a suitable family. Ernest need never know." The room spun. "What is this?" "Mom was going to give you up." Avery's voice dripped with satisfaction. "She only kept you because Dad found the letter before she could go through with it. You were a mistake. An accident. You weren't planned like I was." I sat down hard on my couch, the letter crinkling in my grip. "She never wanted you," Avery continued. "Everything she did, the trust fund, the credit cards, it was just making things right. I was supposed to be an only child." My phone buzzed. A text from Gabriel. "Where are you?" Avery's not answering her phone. "Does Gabriel know?" I asked quietly. "About any of this?" "Gabriel?" Avery laughed bitterly. "Gabriel's gone. He left this morning, said he couldn't marry someone he didn't trust anymore." I pulled out my phone, opened the voice recorder app. "Tell me more about how Mom never wanted me. She tried to get rid of you before you were even born." Avery was practically shouting now. "And when that didn't work, she had to pretend. Every birthday, every Christmas, every family photo, pretending she loved you as much as me, but we both knew the truth." "And the money? The fraud? You didn't deserve that money. You weren't supposed to exist." She grabbed the letter back. "This is your fault. All of it. If you'd never been born." My phone buzzed again. "Dad." "What?" Avery demanded. "More evidence? More of your little investigation?" I held up my phone, showing her the recording. "No. Just making sure Dad finally hears the truth. All of it." The colour drained from her face. "You didn't." "I did. And you know what's funny?" I stood up, walking toward her. "That letter. It doesn't make me angry. It makes everything make sense. Why Mum always hated me. Why you always had to win. You weren't just competing with a sister. You were trying to prove Mom made the right choice keeping me. Stop it." "But she didn't make that choice, did she? Dad did. And now he knows everything." My phone buzzed one final time. A news alert. "Breaking. Major financial fraud investigation launched at Wallace Industries." Avery's phone started ringing, then mine. Mum's name flashing on both screens. "What did you do?" Avery whispered. I did what you taught me to do. I opened my front door. I took what I wanted and didn't care who got hurt. Now get out of my apartment. This isn't over. Actually, it is. I showed her my phone screen. The SEC has everything. The fraud, the theft, the insider trading. Hope Mum's got a good lawyer. Avery stumbled out, mascara now running freely down her face. After she left, I sat alone in my apartment, that damn letter on my coffee table. My phone kept buzzing. Mom, Dad, relatives, probably reporters soon. But for the first time in my life, I felt completely calm. Because finally, after 24 years, I knew the truth. And the truth? It had set me free. To new beginnings! Sadie raised her glass, the fairy lights I'd strung across my apartment's living room reflecting in the champagne. My housewarming party was small, just Sadie, Yara, and a few friends who'd stuck by me through everything. No family, no drama, just peace. The place looks amazing, Yara said, running her hand along the new velvet couch. Very you. That's because nobody else got to pick anything in it, I replied, thinking of all the times Avery and Mom had criticised my taste. My phone buzzed. A news alert. I've been getting a lot of those lately. Former banking executive Vanessa faces federal charges in fraud case. Turn that off, Sadie commanded, snatching my phone. No news tonight. This is a celebration. The doorbell rang. My heart stopped when I saw who it was through the peephole. Mum? She stood in the hallway, looking nothing like the polished socialite I'd grown up with. Her designer clothes had been replaced by department store basics. No makeup, no jewellery. Can I come in? I hesitated, then stepped aside. The party went silent as she entered. Yara's hand instinctively moved toward her phone, probably ready to call security. I won't stay long, Mom said, her voice small. I need your help, Peyton. Your father won't talk to me. The lawyers say I could face jail time. Please. No. She blinked. What? I said no. I walked to the door, holding it open. Sometimes the karma we face is just the consequence being patient. I'm your mother. Are you? Because according to that letter, you never wanted to be. Tears filled her eyes, real ones this time, not the manipulative kind I'd grown up with. I was young, scared. Your father had just started the company. We were struggling. And now you're struggling again, I said quietly. Funny how life works out. Please. Goodbye, Mom. After she left, Sadie hugged me tight. You okay? Better than okay. I meant it. My phone buzzed again. Dad this time. A photo of legal documents. Just sign the papers, his text read. The house is yours now. Do with it what you want, I showed Sadie the message. Holy shit, she whispered. That's the house you grew up in. The house Mom's living in, I corrected. At least for now. Another text came through from Gabriel. I know this is overdue, but I need to say it. You're the strongest person I know. What you did, standing up to them, it was incredible. I'm sorry I didn't see it sooner. Is he trying to... Yara peered at the message. No, I replied, typing back a simple, thank you. He's just finally seeing clearly. We all are. The party continued, but I found myself drawn to the balcony. The city lights sparkled below. A perfect autumn evening. My phone buzzed one final time. A tabloid alert about Avery. She'd been fired from her firm, caught in a scandal involving client funds. Karma really is patient, Yara said, joining me outside. You okay with all of this? I thought about the question. Was I okay with my mother begging at my door? With Avery's fall from grace? With the family empire crumbling? I'm at peace with it, I finally said. They made their choices, now they're living with them. And you? I looked around my apartment, my space, decorated my way. Thought about the friends inside who'd stood by me, the career I was building, the life that was finally truly mine. I'm living with my choices too, I said. The difference is, I can look in the mirror and be proud of mine. Yara raised her glass. To choices. To consequences, I added. Inside, Sadie was organising an impromptu dance party. The fairy lights twinkled, music played, and laughter, of real, genuine laughter, filled my home. My phone lit up one last time. A text from Dad. Dinner next week? Just us? Yes, I replied. Just us. I put my phone away and joined my friends, leaving the past where it belonged. outside on that balcony, fading into the city lights. Sometimes the best revenge isn't destruction. It's building something beautiful from the ruins. How does that make you feel? Dr. Rivera adjusted her glasses, watching me carefully from her leather armchair. Honestly? I settled deeper into the couch. Relief? Mum took the plea deal. 3 years probation, mandatory counselling, and full restitution of the stolen funds. And Avery left the country. Last I heard, she's in Europe somewhere, trying to rebuild her life under a different name. My weekly therapy sessions had become a sanctuary, a place to unpack 24 years of family trauma without judgment. Your father called again this morning, I added. We're having lunch tomorrow. The regular place, I nodded. Dad and I had made it a tradition, every other Thursday at the little Italian cafe near his new apartment. No business talk, no family drama, just father and daughter getting to know each other properly for the first time. My phone buzzed, Sadie sharing a social media post. Someone had spotted Avery working as a yoga instructor in Barcelona. The mighty had fallen indeed. You haven't touched the house yet, Dr. Rivera noted. The one your father signed over to you. I'm selling it, I said. Mum has 30 days to move out. After that, it's going to a family who will actually make it a home. And how does that make you feel? Like I'm finally closing a door that should have been closed long ago. After therapy, I walked through the park, enjoying the spring sunshine. My phone rang, Gabriel's number. Hey, he said when I answered. I'm in town for a few days. Thought you should know. Avery reached out, asked me to help her come back. And I told her no. Some bridges stay burned. He paused. You doing okay? Better than okay, I replied honestly. You? Getting there. Listen, I know we never really... after everything... Gabriel, I cut him off gently. We're both exactly where we need to be. Yeah, he said softly. We are. At home, I found a letter from Mum's lawyer. She wanted to meet, to apologise properly. I dropped it in the shredder without opening it. Some apologies come too late. My doorbell rang. Yara with takeout and case files. We'd started working together at a new firm, both of us leaving the toxic environments we'd grown up in. You'll never guess what I found, she said, spreading documents across my dining table. Remember Flynn Jackson? Hard to forget. He's starting his own company, wants us to handle the legal side. She grinned. Apparently, he trusts your judgment. After everything that happened? Because of everything that happened. His words. My phone lit up with a text from Dad. Proud of you, sweetheart. See you tomorrow. 3 simple words that once would have meant everything. Now they were just nice to hear. Not validation, just truth. Earth to Peyton. Yara waved her hand. You zoning out on me? Just thinking. I picked up Flynn's proposal. You know what? Let's do it. But this time we do it right. Everything above board. Everything transparent. Speaking of transparent, she pulled out her phone, showed me a news alert. The Morrison was featured in an architecture magazine, my apartment specifically. Rising executive shows how to make a space your own. I laughed. Mum must be having fits. Who cares? Yara started unpacking the food. You did it. You won. Not by destroying them, but by building yourself up. The evening sun streamed through my windows, catching the new art on my walls, the fresh flowers on my coffee table, the life I'd created for myself. My phone buzzed one final time, a message from Sadie. Reminder, dinner at my place Sunday, bringing anyone. Just me, I typed back. That's all I need to be, because that was the real victory. Not the apartment, not the karma, not even the justice served. The victory was finally understanding that I'd never needed their approval to be whole. I was enough, exactly as I was. And that truth, that was worth more than any revenge could ever be.